Hello, how you doing? This is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show. And I got a question. Let me turn this down a little bit. You probably can't hear it anyway, but I can hear it. I got a question about hooking up the Grundig 750 to an antenna. Now, this is a pretty straightforward question, and many of you know that and probably know it better than I do, so you can skip this video if you want to. But I like to answer questions that people have, especially people who are new into shortwave listening. So this is what this show is about. Pretty straightforward. Again, I'm no expert, so I can make mistakes. And if you see if I made a really bad mistake, just put down a comment down below this video. So here we go. What I have set up is maybe a little more elaborate than you need. The key thing about shortwave listening right now, because the band conditions, because of the solar activity for shortwave is pretty poor. So you have to listen pretty carefully. And you need a good system to pull in those weak signals, because the signals are weak right now. Now, as far as the transmitters and the power they're putting out, that's about the same. It's just that if you're listening long distance, like I'm here in the United States, and if I want to listen to stations over in Europe, the mechanics, the physics associated with the atmosphere and the sun, solar energy, solar activity is at its minimum right now, so you're not getting any help from those characteristics. So the stations are pretty weak right now. And even I am struggling to get stations that are in the United States. Like this is WWV in Colorado, and I'm in Florida. And you probably can't see it, but the S meter is up and down, up and down, up and down. So the even that signal that's pretty close to me, relatively, is struggling to get into my receiver. And also the weather condition, the local weather conditions can affect your reception. We've been having daily storms, so that's affected my reception. But anyway, let's get back to the main question that this gentleman asked, is actually hooking up the antennas. What you want to do, best case, is you want to have a shielded coax bringing in the signal from your antenna. Your antenna can be something as simple as a long wire, a piece of wire strung up in the trees or whatever, insulated from the trees, and usually you want it to be at least 20 feet long. The longer the better. The longer it is, the more you're going to get better reception on the lower part of the shortwave band, down to 3 megahertz. So you got that wire strung up outside, then you connect a coax cable to that wire. Then you bring the coax into your room, your garage, wherever you're at, and you're going to connect that coax cable to your radio. You may or may not see an effect of grounding the shield on the coax cable. And I'll just undo this real quickly and show you. Okay, the coax cable, similar to the old cables in your wall outlets, have two conductors. They have an outside shield and the center conductor. The center conductor is what's hooked to your antenna, depending on the type of antenna you're using. If you're just using a long wire, then you would make that one connection. Then the shield, right here on the outside, which provides a shield from interference from things in your office, your room, your garage, should be grounded. It doesn't necessarily have to be grounded, but you probably will see better reception if it is grounded. And the purpose of using the shielded cable from the outside antenna And you want to have the shielded cable connection to the antenna be away from your house, because you don't want any part of the antenna to be receiving interference signals from inside your house, which are abundance of them nowadays. So you shield that cable, you bring it in the house, the shield protects the signal that's coming in on this interconductor from getting signals from those interfering devices. Then on this radio, the connectors, and there are two of them, actually there's 3 antenna external connectors, and I can't get this connector off. I'm going to leave it on. And let me zoom in a little bit. I'm a little frustrated this morning because I've been having trouble with my cameras. So you actually have 3 connections. You have what's called a B and C connector up here on the radio. Let me get, I was looking for a pin or a pointer. Okay, well, forget it. I'll try to keep my hands out of the way. The B and C connector right here, this is for the FM band only. The one down here is a B and C, but I've got an adapter on it, and I'll see if I can get that adapter off. Boy, it does not want to budge. It's been on there so long. Oh, there we go. It already turned. Okay, so you've got 2 B and C connectors on the radio. Typically, the coax cables that you buy that already have connectors on it will have this type of connector. So that won't plug into that, so you have to have an adapter. And here's the adapter right here. They cost from $3 to $6. And this is a PL259, and this is an SO239. I hope I got those numbers correct. I always get them backwards. So you have to put the adapter on and tighten it down. I say, then tighten it down. There we go. And that adapts this coax connector to your B and C. And you're going to connect to the bottom one, which is marked, I think it's marked shortwave and maybe long wave. Okay. Now, before I put that on there, down here is a set of connectors for using either a twin-X ribbon type cable they used to use on old TVs, or you can use your single wire antenna and plug it in here and then hook a separate ground wire to ground here. The trouble with doing that is that single wire won't be shielded, and so the part that's in your office or whatever, it's going to pick up noise, RF noise in your office from your computer, from your routers, whatever. So you don't typically, nowadays, you don't typically want to use this type of connector. Now, if you're outside, you're using a radio outside, yeah, then you can use that type of connector. All right. So this is just a cover for the FM connector, which I never use. So I'm going to put the cover back on. I say I'm going to put the cover back on. There we go. Wow. Everything's giving me a hard time this morning. And then I'll connect this back up. Get it lined up here. I say I'll get it lined up here. Let's see. There it is. Man, why is everything fighting this? Yeah, it clicks in place. You turn it and it clicks. So there's your connection to your radio. Now, what I have, and I'll move the camera, what I have is and you don't need this, I have an antenna switch, which lets me either switch between 2 radios or 2 antennas. So I have my normal antenna right here coming in to this switch, and then I can switch to have the antenna be connected to this radio or to my SDR right now. Matter of fact, I'm going to take that loose right now and get it out of the way. There we go. So like I say, normally you don't need this switch. You would normally hook this cable, which is the coax cable coming from your antenna outside, to your radio. don't use the switch. This particular antenna I'm using right now is what's called a G5RV antenna. It's a dipole antenna. It means it has two legs to it, and it's 102 feet long. And it's made mainly for listening to the shortwave band. Like I say, you can even just use a long piece of wire. The discussion of setting that up is beyond this particular video, and hook that up and then bring it in through or by coax cable. That's the key, coax cable. I did a show about using coax cable and keeping noise off of your radio. Actually, I think it was a show done by a friend of mine. I don't know if I did it myself. All right, so that's how you would hook up the G5RV, the G5RV, the Grundig 750. Very similar on other radios, but the connectors may be different on your particular radio. For instance, the portable, oh boy, am I having a bad time. The portable radios that you might have, and let me see if I can find right here, I should have, will have a jack on it, similar, that will accept a plug like this, similar plug, might not be this exact type plug. And so you would use that kind of connector to connect to those radios. Or some of the cheaper ones don't have any external connection or jack for an external antenna, and you just have to clip on to the built-in telescopic antenna. Now, this radio does have, another thing I like about this radio, it has a lot of antenna options. It has a built-in antenna right here, which is quite long. I think it's 3 feet long. But if I use it in this office, it's going to pick up all the noise in this office and swamp out my shortwave reception. Okay, so that's that one. This is a directional long wave or medium wave antenna, which also has a connector on it, a jack on it, so you can plug in an external antenna to this to go into your long wave and medium wave reception. So you got this, you got the telescopic antenna, you got the FM connector on the side, you got the shortwave connector on the side, and then you have the wire connector for shortwave on the side. That's it. A lot of options, and I can see where the person who just got this radio was asking that question, and I hope I answered it, and I hope I didn't make too many mistakes. If you enjoyed this show, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.